Welcome to the Small Steps, Big Wins podcast. I'm dedicated to helping you take control of your life. Together, we'll explore practical tips, expert advice, and inspiring stories to help you overcome obstacles and achieve your goals. Making small changes is possible and can lead to big results. Are you ready? Let's go do this. Hey, welcome to another caffeine-induced Wednesday wisdom. How are you doing today? So for me, I'm actually in a really good mood. And the title of today's Wednesday wisdom is Show Up. So obviously you're listening, so you decided to show up. I had the phrase show up pop into my mind and I wanted to keep going with it. So my phrase was show up, don't give up. Now, another way to think about this is being proactive in your life instead of reactive. Like when I say to you, show up, don't give up, what do you think that means? And yeah, I mean, when you show up for life, you're actually present. You're there. You're aware of what's going on around you. Again, it is just being proactive. It might force you to be proactive with what's happening. So let's go through a little exercise right now. Are you present? Think about that for a minute. Are you present right where you are? Are you driving in your car listening to this? Are you fixing a meal for somebody? Are you just sitting somewhere at a coffee shop listening to this? You could be doing a variety of things right now. But my question to you would be, are you present? Are you showing up for this moment in your life? Think about it after you're done listening. What's the next activity that's required of you for today? Are you going to just be there? Are you going to be reactive to the situation? Or are you really going to show up? So what does show up look like for me? Show up for me personally means that I'm paying attention to the person who's talking to me. Now, let me back up a minute. Do I always get this perfect? No, absolutely not. But I do try, as we all do. We're all human. We're all human beings. There's not one of us on this planet that's perfect. All right. So we're never going to get everything perfect 100%. But if we have something in the forefront of our mind, like showing up, then, it's there for us to think about. So what does that do for me? Well, I interview people for my podcast. They're expecting me to show up and expect me to listen and ask questions and be engaging. So yeah, I show up there. I show up for my job. So I'm going to ask you, where do you show up or where do you not show up? Think about those times where you're reactive and you're not really engaging. Are you preoccupied with something else that's causing you not to show up at that moment? I don't know. It looks different for each and every one of us, but the idea for today is not to let life just happen to you. Instead of being reactive to everything, let's be active. And in order to be an active participant in your life, you actually have to show up for your life that's in front of you. So that's my caffeine-induced thought for today for you guys. Since it's small steps, big wins, you're probably wondering, okay, Sue, that's great. How can we show up? Well, you know what? The first step to showing up is awareness. Are you aware of what's going on around you? Now, in order to be aware of what's going on around you, you might actually have to force yourself to stop paying attention to the phone and take inventory of what's happening around you. So in order to be in your life, in order to show up, you actually have to be aware of what's going on around you. And that takes pausing, that takes stopping, that takes awareness. So that's the first step. The second step to helping you show up, or at least this is what I do, is I practice daily meditation. Meditation looks in many different forms to everybody. For me, it's just sitting in the dark, focusing on my breath, and allowing myself to interact with the thoughts that enter my mind. Now, sometimes I make them constructive. Sometimes I make them focused. Sometimes I just allow my brain to do what it's going to do. But it is at least 10 minutes of time where I'm breathing, it's quiet, and I'm just sitting with myself. There's no music, there's nothing going on. That's me personally for meditation. That might not work for you, might be running, might be something else, I don't know. Whatever works for you, but take your awareness and couple it with some kind of practice. Like I said, for me, it's meditation that brings you to a consciousness that you are now aware of what is going on in front of you. Okay, so as you go through your day today, ask yourself, am I showing up for my life today? Am I being proactive for what's happening to me, or am I just being reactive? And I can guarantee you that if you show up and you are proactive in your life, you will start creating the life that you desire. Thank you for the gift of your time, folks. If this has touched you in any way, please share it with a friend. There's always something you can do today that's going to produce a better tomorrow for you. All right, folks, have an awesome day, friends. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Small Steps, Big Wins podcast. I value your time with me, and I seek to make every moment count. In order to make lasting change in your life, listening is usually not enough. So I want to ask you, what practical steps are you going to put into action today as a result of listening to this podcast? Remember, any step, any action, no matter how small, starts your journey to a big win. And if you're not sure where to get started, check out my website, personalcoachfinder.com, and find someone who can help. Remember, life doesn't get better by chance, it gets better by choice. Take small steps today and make your life awesome, friends.